Hey, this is Mark Washington, MTC Media. As we are on the brink of March Madness, you know that people are already determining whether they're going into the portal, not in the portal. Here, we're almost to, I guess we're a few weeks away from the first live period. So there's going to be a lot of other things going on besides the NCAA tournament that's going to shape what teams look like, going forward. And I know people will say just get by the tournament now. It's not how it works. It's not where the portal is in the calendar, not how recruiting works or where the live periods are. You're going to have to think about it now. And one of the things that I would say, if I'm a program, and it's every program doesn't have to do this, like Duke doesn't have to do this. But if I'm a program that's in a mid-major, upper mid-major, middle to the bottom of a power conference, I start structuring my support staff a little bit different. See, we always talk about the coaches. We obsess over the coaches. We obsess over the players. But what we don't understand is how much the process and your structure plays a part in a recruit's decision. I do, because I've been out there. I've had recruits. I've coached recruits. I've been part of the recruiting process as a coach. I've been part of the recruiting process as someone, as a media member. I've been on both sides. I've been on various sides of the recruiting process. And the first thing I would do is, if I was after a top recruit and I'm competing against some of the heavyweights, I put together a structure in conjunction with whomever their management company is, because a lot of the top recruits have a managing company that they have some sort of agent, someone who oversees NIL, all those sort of things. And I go and I sit down with them and we come up and we work in conjunction with each other in brand strategy. So we can ensure the recruit and his or her parents, we have a brand strategy for your child as soon as they get here. This is what it's going to look like. This is how we're going to work with that current management company. This is what we're going to do in the university besides set up an NIL shop. These are the things that we're going to invest in your son and daughter, along with the whatever happens on the sports side of it, because schools are ill-equipped to deal with that. There is not brand managers that understand, for most schools, and I know I'm painting with a broad brush, they're not paid to do that. They don't have those things. They don't know what's currently out there. They don't have the staffing, the resources, and the money to invest in a professional way of discovering what these things are and how they process and where the opportunities are. So we talk about how the game has changed, especially in basketball. But we talk about the environment, how the game has changed on the court, how the game has changed off the court, all those things. Yet, I see too many colleges, and I cover a lot of them, that have the same structure that they had in the 1980s. One college has the same structure, and heck, they have the same communications plan and outreach plan as they did in the 1980s. Imagine that. But the change has to happen. So you're seeing this updated in how we do NIL and how we do this and how the game is played and what we're doing with coaching staffs and all these things. But yet your structure behind it is still archaic. Some feel like they don't need to work in conjunction with the program, that they kind of sit on their own and they kind of do things their way. And you can really, really lose a recruit in this day and age if the ducks aren't all in a row. So I would either do one or two things if I'm these universities. Either I staff up with professionals in that area. Don't just advance somebody who's at the university and say, here's your chance to advance. No, I go and I either hire someone as university official or a team that is professionally qualified to do those things, or I partner with someone and use them as consultants to help us achieve those things. But you can no longer say, hey, that's not my job. My job is this. Oh, I hate it. I wish it was never. Wish Wishing is not going to do you any good, guys. This is where we are. And if you want to help the program, it's not just the coaches, it's not just the players. Now that branding, communications, NIL, all of that stuff is now into play. And it's beyond saying, this kid, did you know this kid's getting $200,000 a year? That's not branding. That's just putting money in a hand right now. Branding is a complete strategy, and it's a long-term strategy. It's a multi-year strategy. That's what branding is. And then there is a clear, concise way that it's done individually. It's not, this is the branding strategy for the basketball team. That's not how it works. And you need professionals to do those things. So if it's me, if I'm in that middle area, or I want to separate myself from the mid-majors and I want to be able to start grabbing some of these kids, not only out of high school or out the portal, I have this structure in place. And not only am I selling the program and the on-the-court stuff, not only am I selling the NIL stuff, but what I'm also selling to you is a long-term branding strategy that not only that you can have at this university, but you're going to have at the university. And it's a living organism. That is a starting point to grow and to adjust and do these things. But it's going to start here. You're not going to get out of school and be like, all right, NIL money sitting here, that all that stuff is done now. All right, so what do I do? You know, I'm going to the G League, or I'm going overseas, or maybe, you know, I'm an NBA draftee on some sort of level, whatever the case may be. But that whole starting over type of thing. And now you can sell. Well, you're not going to have to start over. Everything's a living organism anyway. We're going to get you started. Of course, there's going to be some changes when you're here. There's going to be some changes when you leave here. But you know what you're going to do. You're going to be more educated about the process. You're going to have a head start. And you're kind of going to know who you are and who you're going to want to be down there in front of potential investors, which is what branding essentially is. So you want a strategy? That's my strategy. It's Marcus Washington, MTC Media.